So I love when we can spend some time making meat-free meals because we have so many viewers that want vegetarian meals that taste really, really good. They're going to be somewhat simple.
Oh, good. Very simple. You know me. I'm not into complicated.
No, you're good about that.
I don't do that.
So we've got two things.
Yes. We have a lentil pot pie.
Yeah.
Because just because you're not eating meat doesn't mean you don't want comfort food.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then these are, it's hard for me not to eat these just standing here. These are eggplant and ricotta involtini.
And what does involtini mean?
Rolled up.
Okay, got it.
So, but you know, if you say rolled up,
make it simple.
it just sounds like not fancy.
Right.
So we give it a fancy name, but it's still really easy.
All right.
So we'll start with the pot pie. So we wanted this to be hearty, rich, comforting, stick to your ribs. So of course we went with lentils.
Yeah, they fill you up.
Oh, I love lentils. You know, Canada grows the most beautiful, beautiful lentils. They are so affordable. You buy a bag of them, you leave them in the pantry, and they're there forever, just waiting for that day when you call them up. You're like, it's your turn, it's your turn. So we did a little base here. Now this is carrot and a bit of onion.
Yeah.
And a third secret ingredient.
What's the secret?
Apple.
Oh,
it's apple. Because the apple is going to bring a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah.
And then there's a little bit of vinegar in there too, so a little bit of sweet and sour.
Yeah,
then
I like that.
the lentils go in, and you see there's not really that many lentils because
No.
they grow. Once those babies get cooking, they grow. And then I'm going to put in some thyme because I have it. There it goes. Then what am I going to do? Then I'm going to add some water.
Whatever you want.
There you go. Like I have too many ingredients over here. I'm going to add them all. So a ton of water.
All right.
Because the lentils are going to absorb like almost four times as much water. So one cup of
That's why they're good in your
lentils.
belly. Because
And that's why they're affordable.
Right? And that's why they're affordable.
So that's going to cook, and it's going to cook and cook and cook, and I'm actually going to cover it. Now, you see I started this in a frying pan, but I want to cover it. What do you do if you don't have a lid that fits your frying pan?
I don't know. Use a plate?
Well, use a plate, use a baking sheet, or you take a huge piece of parchment paper, and you just lay that on top, and then you use whatever lid you can find that's closest.
That's perfect.
And then that'll simmer away for about like half an hour, because the lentils take some time, right?
They take a little while.
So get that started. You can even do that in advance, and then what you end up with is this lovely mashup. So those lentils are tender, and the carrots are in there, and the onion, and the thyme, and then I'm going to add a little parsley because I also had parsley.
Yeah, and you're always saying when you have these fresh herbs, use a ton of it.
Please do.
Why not?
And then I have some cream somewhere. Oh, it's over there. Yes, please. Could you dump that in?
Yeah.
So cream. Why cream? You know, well, because cream tastes good. We didn't add a ton of it. We're using it in the biscuit topping, and it adds a richness. And sometimes when you're not eating meat, you're not cooking with meat, there can be a little bit of that richness missing.
Yeah.
Because you know your tongue perceives fat as flavor.
Yes.
And when you have a little bit of fat in there, it actually helps you feel more full and more satisfied.
Right.
And it just makes the dish feel like you're not cheating yourself at all.
I agree with all of that, and that's why I consume so much fat.
Well, I am so glad.
Satisfied.
It makes you feel satisfied.
Even,
and it's because your body is interpreting it. You go back to your primitive brain.
It's good. You're full. You're satiated.
Yeah, it's dense calories. Your body craves it. So, I mean, remember when in the low-fat, crazy heyday of the late 80s? I know, right? So, I'm going to ask you to move your clipboard. Are you going to be okay with that?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, so then we're going to make a really, you are a professional. Really quick biscuit topping, bit of baking powder.
I used all your cream.
Bit of flour. You know what? I got to back up. I got to back up. Just add a little bit. Flour can be temperamental at this time of year as our houses are getting drier. You know, you turn the heat on. Means everything in your house, from your skin to your carpets to your flour, is drier. So sometimes it takes a little bit more cream, sometimes it takes a little bit less.
Okay.
And you know, that's where I trust you to just know what you're doing.
We give you the recipe, but really you got to feel the stuff out for yourself.
And for the most part, because as you know, we test everything in the Chatelaine kitchen so vigorously and devotedly, it's all fine. But then, you know, really, always better to have a happy result because you've held back a little bit of the flour than adding it all. Is that right? Put my bowl on top of your clipboard?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like your clipboard is in this segment with us.
I know. Well, it's sort of part of it. Yeah. No. We just call it City Line.
Okay. So this is very artisanal, rustic. That goes on top of there, just like that. And then
That's the way I would do it.
Right? And then I take a little bit of my cream and brush it on top and pop this puppy in the oven. and that's it.
And so you bake the whole thing together.
Bake the whole thing together. So that's
What a great idea.
What is hanging off? I got biscuit topping hanging off of my finger. I'm a mess here.
That's okay. Remember, it's all rustic. It's rustic.
It's rustic.
And biscuit can be hanging off of your hand.
Then when you go to serve it, because pot pie, you want a little bit of that nice biscuit as well as the filling. So that's a really lovely
nice
vegetarian
idea.
comfort food.
Now, I imagine the involtini, did I say it right?
You did.
It's so easy because all you're doing is cutting that eggplant into really thin slices.
You are, yeah. And you do it in the oven. So,
okay.
you know, there's if you've ever made eggplant parmesan or a lot of those eggplant dishes, you actually deep fry that.
Okay.
Which
We're
to
not
me
deep
is
frying
just
it.
like, I do not even want to talk about it. I can't even hardly say deep fry without getting the shivers.
Okay.
I don't care for it. Slice it thinly, brush both sides with
kinda
olive
like it,
oil,
but
and
whatever.
oh, it's tasty, but I don't want to do it myself.
No, the deep fryer actually scares me.
Yeah, and then it stinks up the house. And anyway,
It
let's
really
not talk
does.
about it. This just goes in the oven. If you need to use 2 baking sheets, do it.
Yeah.
But then it's tender and floppy, and you just take yourself. You take those. You line those up for me.
Okay.
I had a little pan going here of a little bit of onion and garlic. I'm going to dump in some ricotta and then a little bit of parm and some basil.
Ricotta's the best cheese, man.
Well, you saw me eating it out of the
so
jar before the
good.
segment even started. And then once this gets kind of mashed together, come on, mash with me.
You have your filling.
Oh, it smells so good. So the thing is that you make this hot. These are hot out of the oven, which means I can serve them right away. I don't have to bake them again.
Right.
Put a little bit there, do a little bit. Oh, so good.
Well, I love the way you topped it as well, because then you go back to that sort of eggplant parm situation,
Exactly.
right?
Can of tomatoes, simmer it with some olive oil.
You're like, whatever.
Let's do
just
it.
do it.
Let's
Why
do
not
it.
mix it up?
And then again, this is hot. Like if I had just simmered this together, and then you just serve them like that with a little bit of
Really good for you too, I might add.
Really good for you. And this is a great starter if you're that kind of person. I personally am not, but amazing, amazing weeknight dinner. Kids love these.
Oh yeah.
I love these. Everybody loves these.
Everyone loves them.